Ask me what's STORESolv. Welcome to the new SYNNEX, because this is a much different business than we've been in for the 30 years previous. And what makes it new and exciting for me is that we're focused on solutions. We are still traditional pick, pack, and ship. That's our core competency. It's what we do. And we have our hardware vendors that are a critical part of our business model. But what we are doing with STORESolv is we are really focusing on the solutions that are out there. So in the room today, we've got 3 ISVs, 3 solution providers that are going to be presenting and giving us really the heart of the message of what STORESolv is all about. When you look at the history, it was really an executive decision that was made by Kevin Rye and the executive team that we don't want to be perceived as a traditional broadline IT distributor. And so the term that was birthed for SYNNEX was a hybrid distributor. All that means is that we are focusing on solutions. And that was a key decision that was made, because it's really what put me in business at SYNNEX. I spent 7 years previously at a local retail reseller here in Greenville called Agilicis. And prior to that, I worked in distribution, and then I spent 12 years with IBM. But when you look at the STORESolv, it's a brand. Okay, we are still AIDC/POS, and in this business that we're in, we take the data capture, the data collection, in the printing, mobile printing, etc., and we have brought it all under STORESolv. So it's branding. So when you go to synnex.com/STORESolv, you'll see the POS portion of it, as well as the AIDC, or data collection. Again, we have an experienced team of product managers, business development reps, and a sales organization, all that report under me in the STORESolv business unit. When you look at our vendor base, we've got 40 vendors that we work with. That does not include the ISVs that we've partnered with. Those are hardware vendors that deliver part of the tool set, if you will, like kiosks, like mag stripe readers, like payment terminals, poll displays, on and on. Kiosks. So they're significant partners with us as we move forward. We've got a marketing strategy that we have built with our vendors, and we're looking forward as we enter into 2013 to be doing a lot more. With RSPA, with our secret sauce in Varnex community, and as we get broader into the retail space moving forward. Again, as you look at the methodology or the philosophy, is that we really want to focus on simplifying this whole process. We want to make it easy for the resellers to engage in those conversations, in that sales cycle with their end user customers. So as you look at it as a complete seamless process, a complete seamless system, we want the resellers to be able to come to us at SYNNEX and be able to be a consultant to them with respect to the solutions that are out there, what the activity is in terms of what can be presented. And so we partnered with our hardware vendors as well as with our software vendors to make sure that we can deliver these point of sale solutions. When you look at when you look at this piece right here, the STORESolv, I just put a bunch of E's down here because the message that we're trying to send is that we want to eliminate a lot of that complexity in this sales process. People are looking at resellers at growth strategies. How can I grow my business? Well, venture out into something that maybe is outside of your core competency or outside the box. When you look at retail, retail is everywhere. I often use this example and tell people, if you sell into manufacturing, many manufacturing facilities, they have a company store. Retail is everywhere, and they're using something. And so if you're selling into those environments, just be cognizant of the fact that there are solutions out there that they're investing in. Again, easy to use, effectively minimizes the costs associated with the acquisition of a POS system, and then again, it enables you to focus on your customer and customer service. There we go. Again, the approach, this is real simple. We wanted to be different. That was the intention of this. We wanted to be different. And so we looked at how everybody else was approaching, in the distribution space, how they were approaching retail and POS. And so what we decided was that we were going to start, we were just going to hand select. We weren't going to go out and try to sign up every hardware vendor. We weren't going to go out there and try to sign up every ISV. We determined the space that we wanted to be in, SMB retail, fine dining, quick service, etc. and we began that process. We believe that we've got the best in class, best of breed with the ISV partners that we have partnered with. In November of last year, we went out and acquired VisionMAX, significant move for us, and that just again brings us that total solution with the retail and the cloud that they provide. Again, creative, flexible financing options. We're not going to talk about lease station, but we do have creative leasing and financing options available. Rather than the shotgun approach, we're going to take the rifle approach. We're going to be very targeted, very purposeful, very intentional in what we do and in our approach. And then lastly, again, we have a dedicated team of personnel that's focused on this. When you look at the initiatives that we've got now, we've already talked about most of these. We've signed with, or we're working with Futura and Silverware, VisionMAX, POS, and then Wasp, Lock, and Panasonic are also partners of ours that are significant players. The Panasonic store tender, you're going to hear today from SMB Retail, Futura, Fine Dining, Silverware, and RitC with VisionMAX. But the other solutions that we've got is the Panasonic store tender solution. And I want to encourage you, Kamal Biori is with Panasonic. He's in our STORESolv booth upstairs. Please go by and see the solutions that they've got. HP is a major participant and player with all of our solutions that we're bringing to the table. Todd Renner's back in the room, but you'll see HPRPOS all throughout the booth as well. And then, of course, Wasp with their quick store solution, asset tracking, and then grocery. Wanted to just kind of throw that out there. I love that chart because it gives you kind of a sense that, you know what, we're not playing games, we're serious about this. Our senior level executives are serious about this, and we have partnered with what we believe to be the best in class vendors and ISVs. What I want to do is we're going to break this down in two little sections here. One is vendor offerings and the other is solution offerings. And so I'm going to ask the WASP rep that they would come up now. Brian, I think here is Brian in here. I don't even see him in here. Okay. I guess we're going to go straight to DataLogic. Chris, you want to come up? This is Chris Miller with DataLogic. He is our channel rep, one of the best in the world, and does a great job for us. And I'm going to skip right through that WASP. That helps us. But we'll talk about that at the end if we have time. Did it? It's good. Okay. Don't fill in that.
All right. Well, thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. Yeah, again, my name is Chris Miller, so I'm with DataLogic, and I'm the account manager for SYNNEX. So, my boss and I kind of run the channel there. And show of hands, a lot of you probably know who DataLogic is, assuming. Quite a few hands. All right. Can you hear me all right? Do I need that?
We can.
Again, my name is Chris Miller. So DataLogic sounds like a lot of you may know that. I tend to start some of these at little, barcode trivia. How about a $10 gift card? Can anyone answer that question up there? A couple of you may, I'm not going to let you answer. Anyone? First barcode ever scanned, what was it?
Stick a gun.
Close.
Close.
It's actually the 10-pack of Wrigley's gum. So can you pass that back to us? All right, that's part one. Now, can anyone, for another card, actually I think that might have stuck together. I think there's a second card in there. Where that was scanned? Does anyone know where it was scanned? How about a state? New York. I'm a Buckeye fan of that house. Yeah. It was actually in Troy, Ohio. It was with a retailer grocery store called Marsh Supermarkets. Okay, very innovative group. It's in kind of central Ohio is where it is. I grew up in Cincinnati. And so anyway, that's the items that was scanned, that's where it was scanned. And last question, and I'll even throw in a golf club on this one. Who scanned or scanned that first code? Could be a trick question. Okay. It was actually part of an NCR point of sale system. Okay, it was in 1974, as you see the data that unfolds up there. But we were actually under OEM contract with NCR. So our company wasn't called DataLogic then, we were actually Spectrum Physics, but we manufactured that Model A scanner that scanned that very first barcode. So I'll let Gary kind of pick out who was close on that one. So anyway, my point with that is just kind of setting the stage a little bit on DataLogic. So as you kind of see up there, over time when we had through mergers and acquisitions, we were bought by a company out of Bologna, Italy, about 5 or 6 years ago. So we are now a global provider of data collection solutions. Okay, our U.S. headquarters is still in Eugene, Oregon, which is where that first Model A scanner was developed. And the reason was the University of Oregon back in the late 60s and early 70s was one of the few schools that actually had laser-based technology majors. So our headquarters is there. I think some of the original developers are still in that building, still cranking product out for us today. So anyway, a lot of firsts in there. Through our acquisition with DataLogic, we now have a global footprint, a great footprint overseas, for certain opportunities where that comes into play. But we certainly understand and live by the data collection world. We are a publicly traded company, a couple thousand employees, heavy R&D. So that's just a little background on DataLogic. If you really look at the core verticals that we serve, there's a need for barcode scanning in all verticals, and this certainly isn't all-encompassing, but these are some major ones that we tend to make sure we market towards, develop towards, come up with feature sets towards. Manufacturing, transportation, logistics, services, healthcare. But really for this discussion on the STORESolv initiative, retail. Obviously, if we were there from day one, that is a major sweet spot for us as a company. And I'll wrap up with a couple slides on some exciting products that we're proud to bring out. But all those core areas of retail, we have great product sets for. And if you really look at, you kind of break down our solution set, we break down about 3 or 4 key areas. So handhelds, kind of all things handheld. So anything from a $100 general purpose scanner into some very vertical specific scanners, antimicrobial for healthcare, retail specific scanners that I'll show you here in a second, real ruggedized scanners. So kind of everything in between there we manufacture a product for. So we've got you covered on the handheld side. Again, the incarnation of our company, so with fixed retail scanners, you'll probably see these at your Target, your Walmart, your Kroger's, on and on throughout there. But heavy-duty scanning, high-volume throughput, scanners, scanner scale options for the grocery and the weighted produce, and a lot of set-on-counter options. So we have a lot of sizes and models that fit. We also manufacture a complete line of mobility products. Again, if we apply that to retail specific, you'd see these in the data warehouses for receiving the product in and out. Could be for your DSD systems that are out there. So we've certainly partnered and written all of our applications on the CE or the embedded platforms. But these are all highly ruggedized solution sets that are out there. In the middle is like a forklift mount option we have. So kind of continue our portfolio. This is kind of a growing area of ours. It certainly touches a lot on retail, but anywhere where you have unintended scanning, and that's just growing by leaps and bounds. Every month we get into just new opportunities, kiosk opportunities, vending machine opportunities. My example of DirecTV in the lower right there, you can literally go up and apply and get a service without talking to a person and just do a couple scans and some data entry. You have that service, whatever it is. So we actually make a couple of products that fit real well there. We've just taken the package away. It's basically an OEM scan engine, and kiosk manufacturer or solution provider can kind of build that into their solution set pretty well. And really with the adaption of 2D, it's pretty much what we see going out there these days. This is certainly a couple key areas of growth that kind of give us some competitive advantages. But our retail and our specifically imaging solutions that A, we've been working on, and B, are going to be released in the near months. On the left-hand side, we have kind of a personal shopping solution we call Joya. That's basically a ruggedized handheld that a consumer can take, go through their complete shopping experience, and in that middle picture there, you could actually go through a totally unattended checkout. And then we actually have a store in Europe that's the only way you get in and get out of the store. They have no cashier. So again, overseas, a little different adaption rate, but we're actually testing this in Costco and a couple of retailers that are kicking the tires a little bit to see if that fits their mode of operation. But it's a really good device. It's really ruggedized. We also partner and run on some iOS applications, and we're getting that convergence out there. But I can drop that about 50 times from 6 feet. I'd like to try that with anybody's iPhone if you want to kind of do that after the meeting here. Another carrier to the right now is our bottom of basket solution. It's kind of known as Lane Hawk in the industry. DataLogic acquired that about 2 years ago. And that's really the crux of where we're going with our imaging solution. So if you look at this lower right-hand picture, we're actually taking a picture of that 12-pack of Corona. And we're doing two things. One, it's a security feature, so we're preventing it from going out the door unpaid for. But more importantly, if it is something that needs to be added to the transaction, just through taking a picture, and like in that Coke picture, we're just taking a fingerprint of that package, right? We're not scanning the UPC, we're just taking a fingerprint, and then I can apply that into the IBM ACE application, into the NCR ACS application. We're going to talk to Locke, we're going to talk to some other solution providers that are in the room. So we actually drop that UPC into the transaction, so it's just like it was scanned, but all we did was take a picture of it. So in a quick thought, you can kind of think, hey, where's that, what direction is that going to take us? So that kind of breaks down the portfolio set. And if you really look at just a couple of unique features that we have, Green Spot, some of you are pretty familiar with our company, you hear that in about every presentation that we do. It's basically just a good feed readback solution set, but it just tells the user when I scan a good code. So in noisy environments or a quiet environment, that thing, it plays really well there. So keep that in mind, it's a patented feature of ours. I kind of touched on this, but when you partner with DataLogic, you're partnered with a brand, a leader in that space. We've got great market share out there. That fixed position scanning in areas where you have weighted produce are always platter on the right. Again, we made the whole top part of the scanner part of the scale, so we did patent that. So if you look at the pictures on the left, that is basically shrink as it would be in the environment of scaling. So anywhere that the produce touches on ours, it all depresses the weight down, you get the correct weight. So we made a great piece of that. So really last slide, you kind of see where we came from, quick overview of the product portfolio. This is where it's going to start getting fun as we approach NRF this year. Okay, you've seen our heritage, so we've been there from day one. We really helped build out this bioptic scanning area. So I mean, that's just a given in those full-time environments. But now we're taking the acquisition of Lane Hawk, and we got some really new things coming down the pipe. And you'll see a picture that's going to crop up here. But this is our entry into 100% imaging solutions at the unattended front end. Okay, so this literally, you can put product on this device, it gets image scanned. Okay, and we're reading the UPCs and/or the picture, and we read that, and then it's got the integrated Lane Hawk at the bottom of it. So there's nobody in the industry that can touch on those areas. So as we look at the next generation bioptic, right there, we want to incorporate some of that technology from the Lane Hawk in there. So it's just going to give us some abilities to do some things that our competitors are going to have to catch up on. And it's really it's the software that's behind that. We could talk 20 minutes just on the software, but that should give you a little flavor for what we have. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.
I'm going to ask Dylan. Dylan, if you come on up. Dylan is with WASP, and we're going to let him just jump right on in here and get started. We're going to talk fast, folks, because we're squeezing in a lot of stuff here, and we appreciate you bearing with us. Thank you, Chris.
You're spoiling it for them. They're getting to see it.
They can see the free slides.
I know. I heard it came up. I wasn't in here, so you guys got really excited. You're going to see WASP, and then they took it away from you. So, okay. All right. So I got to get through this in 4 minutes. Is that right?
That'll work.
Okay. All right. My name is Dylan Schaefer. I'm Channel Sales Manager for WASP Barcode, based out of Dallas, Texas. And I'm here today to talk to you guys about something that doesn't seem like it would fit in the retail space, but it's fixed asset tracking. So, a little bit about us. We do all things barcode. Hardware and software. So we're actually a software company that's got a full line of barcode products to complement that and do a complete solution. So we do inventory control, we do time and attendance. Of course, our legacy, how we got started, is in point of sale. So if we do a very affordable turnkey, out-of-the-box, complete solution on a retail storefront. So we've got the hardware, we've got the software. Most important product for us, most popular product is our asset tracking product. So we're going to talk about that today. So just real quick, this comes up all the time. What is an asset to a company? An asset is anything that a company deems valuable. So it could be obviously out of the box. You're thinking IT equipment, that's probably what we track with this. Okay, but we also do evidence tracking for the police. We do fleets, so fleet service. City of Dallas actually uses mobile asset to track everything in their police department, including all their bomb squad equipment. So when the bomb squad goes out, they actually have a barcode on their little robot that goes into the rooms. They know who had that and where it was. So you think tangible and intangible software, all of those good things. So from a retail perspective, you know, like Chris just mentioned, Chris, what is that, the big imaging thing, what does that thing cost?
What does it cost?
Yeah.
Good question.
I'm guessing a little more than $1,000.
Yeah, it's more, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a pricey piece of equipment. You think about that from an IT guy, if my job is to manage that, I want to know exactly where that is, who's got it, what's happened to it. So when you're talking about retail storefront or retail environments, there's a lot of really high dollar assets that are going to be in that environment. And that's a great add-on and complementary sell for you guys, is putting in a simple asset tracking solution. So who tracks assets? Obviously you see this, the shopping cart there, retail, but we're pretty much everywhere. You think about businesses that have products that they want to keep hands on, it's going to fit everywhere. Now we play really well in the education sector. So I'll tell you, anybody ever heard of Friday Night Lights? Okay, football show, great book, Odessa Permian, West Texas town. They actually use asset to track all of their assets over 87 campuses throughout their entire school district. So that's one of our bigger installs. But we're huge with education, huge in the gov sector, Army, Navy, Coast Guard. Those guys love us from a departmentalized setting because it's right out of the box, it's very affordable, and it gives them accountability for what they have. So how it works, very easy. I know it's barcoding, so it's cutting edge technology since the 1950s, right? All you do, you put a barcode on a product. I get the software on my computer. It is, we use SQL as our back-end database. Okay, so I put the barcode on there, scan it, get in the database, and now I'm ready to manage my assets there. I can literally gather 60 to 70 pieces of information about any given asset. So like this laptop, if I just want to know this is a laptop, it's got a barcode on it, that's all I need to know about it, okay? But I could track who I bought it from, when the last time it was maintained, what software is on it. I can take a picture of it. So there's tons and tons of different things that I can track in that back-end database. These are just a couple tidbits about the asset tracking world, and this is actually, this PowerPoint is built from these new infograms. So our marketing department has been running with these lately. So the one that gets me is top left corner, $80,000 on average per year that the school districts say they lose in assets, either lost or damaged. I have an 8-year-old at home. Our school district is talking about moving over to iPads, replacing all textbooks. Now, for 4 straight years, he's yet to hang his towel up after a bath, and now we're going to give this kid an iPad for a year. Okay, so I want a system that shows what it looked like the day I gave it to him and what it's going to look like when I get it back, right? So that is an alarming number there, but that shows you there is a huge market for this out there. Okay, the great thing about WAS, like I mentioned, is we are a hardware and software company. So we do a complete bundled solution. It's one part number here at SYNNEX. It gives you guys the ability to go out and install. That's labels, supplies, that's the printer, that's the mobile computer, that's the software in the back-end database. So very, very easy. The great thing about this is we do free unlimited tech support for the life of all of our products. So it's one throat to choke when it comes to tech support. I don't have software and I'm on the phone with 2 different manufacturers trying to make everything work. I have one place to call. Okay? Now, the good stuff. My partner programs set up here at SYNNEX. So we do a lot of great things with these, and they've done a great job in getting the message out. The one that I put there at the top is front-end rebates. So these are not, this is a margin consideration to you right off the bat. You see it at the quote level. There's not a check that comes on the back end, and it's ready to go. Lead distribution. Everybody should have perked up right there. So last year we had 15,000 unique customers come to the website and raise their hand, click on a button, say, I want to know more about what you have. Okay? Well, now we have a poor guy, I love him to death, he's our lead qualifier. This guy, all he does every day is qualify every single person that raises their hand. So we do not pass out anything to a reseller that hadn't been contacted by WAS first. Because I love our customers, but they're going to say, hey, I'm interested in mobile asset, but they clicked on that because they can't get their scanner to plug into their computer. So we go through that, we vet all that out, and then we only pass along the good stuff to you guys. Quarterly MDF at my higher levels. You also get a dedicated channel account manager. I say that because, I mean, just through, if you look in the solutions pavilion, that thing is gigantic, okay? So there are a lot of products out there that you guys, may want to put in the line card, maybe be responsible for, but we don't expect you to be an expert in them. That's where we come in. So we handle all the pre-sale support there. We do the WebEx demo of the products. We do the conference calls. We help with the quotes. We're there for you there. And then, of course, we do free training. If you guys are up for it, letting us come in and buy you some lunch and show you about our product on a WebEx or on a PowerPoint, we absolutely do that all day. We can do them WebEx, and we're not going to charge for those either. So that's me in, what, 6 minutes?
You did good.
Yeah, it's right on time. Any questions for me?
And again, just as a reminder, all of these folks are going to be up in the vendor pavilion, so you'll be able to have some deeper dialogues with them. Scott Railing with Motion is here with us today, and
Well, I just get ushered out just like that, right? You guys are
no,
doing
you have a
things.
seat right there in the back. Scott Railing is a West Coast rep for Motion, and is here with us to talk about their product set. We have included Motion in a lot of the solutions that we're working with our ISVs, and we're excited about what they're bringing to the table. So, if you want to go ahead and start, Scott, it's all you.
I think I'm going to forget the slides anyway. Now that I know we got this 5 minutes, I'm going to have to talk faster. So, yeah, that's a good one. We can just leave that there all day. So I'm going to first tell you just a little bit about Motion Computing, a little bit of background on the company, what we do, and I'm going to try to talk a little bit specifically about what we're doing in retail, how our solutions fit into that, and how we're solving some problems in retail. So Motion is an 11-year-old company based in Austin, Texas. And what we do is we deliver mobile computing solutions for very specific usage cases in very specific markets. And those are healthcare, field sales and service, and retail. So hopefully as I go through this, you'll get some sense for why we have a fit in those markets, the things that we do that address those markets. At the core of that solution is a Windows-based, ruggedized, enterprise-style tablet PC product. So for those of you that know Motion, that's probably what you think of as tablet PCs. And at the core, that's what it is. We develop and manufacture a line of ruggedized, Windows-based tablets. I say solution because that's really what it is. You heard a lot of the guys this morning in the opening address talking about solutions, and we really believe that. It's a lot more than just delivering a piece of hardware. It requires, it starts with the application. All mobility projects, including those at retail, are driven by the application, not so much the device. So we keep a very high-quality stable of best-of-breed partners across the board in software. We rely on the channel for things like wireless services. That's critical to any successful mobile deployment. You have the opportunity to sell the wireless equipment, do the assessments, deploy that technology, and manage that technology. That infrastructure piece is critical to any one of our deployments, so that's an opportunity for the channel. And then, of course, all the other infrastructure services that go around that, the support, training, go-live services, et cetera, et cetera. So it really is a solution, and it starts with the product. So let me talk about a few of the unique things about Motion. So first of all, I said 11 years we've been doing tablet PCs and associated solutions. That makes us pretty much the veteran of the industry. We've been doing this for a long time, so our solutions are very mature. Products are in 6th, 7th generation, so they're very mature product lines. So we've been doing this for a long time. Our competitors are largely massive companies with small PC divisions, and tablet's just a little blip on the radar. So I think our product design and the way we go to market, our vertical strategy, is all, a lot of it to do with the fact that we're so laser focused on this. It's all we do. So a little bit about the product. I mentioned ruggedized. So our entire product line is drop tested to various degrees. They're sealed or semi-sealed for protection against dust and moisture. We use things like Gorilla Glass for display protection. So very durable products. And that lends itself to these markets that we play in. We said healthcare, field sales and service, and retail, right? These are all kind of rough environments where devices are potentially going to be abused, maybe out in the elements and so forth. So it lends itself to that. The other thing you see across the board as far as commonalities with these industries is that it's largely a standing and computing environment, right? The users are standing and computing. They're on their feet and they have a need to enter data. Typically that's going to be in a forms-based application, so a lot of pull-downs, point and click type menus, sometimes very conducive to entry with the pen. So let's talk about that for a minute. That's an area where what we do is much different than iPad, the Droid devices, and so forth, in that they're input devices. So there's a lot of ways to get data into the systems. With the iPad, you get it one way, right, your finger. Like I said, you can do that with our products. You can also use a stylus pen, which, by the way, a lot of times is much more conducive to entering data into these forms, the pull downs and point and click type applications. It's a lot easier to get the pen in those areas. And then where it really gets interesting are things like built-in barcode scanner, built-in RFID readers, cameras front and rear, fingerprint scanners. So a lot of ways to get data into the systems. Okay, so they're fully functioning Windows PCs. Again, it's a full Windows OS. That's actually an interesting topic in and of itself. The fact that this is a device, if you look at retail, most of the applications are Windows-based, right? So the fact that you can drop this device on that network, all the imaging protocols, the way that you use security, the way you handle updates over time, it's just like any other device on the network. So that's a little bit about the product. Again, a real good fit for the market, for retail. What we've seen over the last 18 months is a huge shift towards mobile point of sale, right? The idea of having a fully featured PC where you can run a full application out on the sales floor. So the old model of waiting in line at the counter is moving away, and we're seeing a lot more mobile point of sale. So we just happen to have a product line and a solution set that's a really good fit for that. We've had some huge victories. You heard the gentleman from Panasonic talk about McDonald's this morning. We're actually in that opportunity as well. So that's an example where we're selling, thousands of tablets to the fast food industry for line busting. Verizon stores use the motion computing product for point of sale in store. Microsoft uses our product, for example, in their own stores. So it's a huge shift that we've seen over the last 18 months. Again, we've got a product line that's very well suited for it and a solution set with channel partners like you guys to go deliver that. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to switch gears here, and Pradeep, if you don't mind, if you would begin coming up. This is all these.
Yeah, since I didn't use the slides, you got to get past it.
Thank you. I'll time myself and see if I can actually do it
I'll be
in
back
6
here,
minutes.
you know.
So, and I'll go through these slides very quickly. The numbers in terms of the trends are obvious. A lot of e-commerce folks shopping online, then sort of going into the store, sort of examining physical goods and going back and consummating the transaction online again. Tablet owners, sort of more likely to be doing transactions than smartphone owners because you can see much more on the tablet. So as tablets grow at 35% a year, an explosion sort of screens, there a lot more e-commerce happening. Behind all these statistics, the underlying forces are that retail is spreading beyond traditional stores. E-commerce is spreading beyond the browser onto television, tablets, IPTV, etc. Advertising is spreading beyond billboards, browsers, and loyalty programs to location-based messaging, drive-by couponing, smart signage, and payment processing is moving beyond the wallet and the credit card. So in this sort of, with all these different changes happening, it's obvious that retail is in a tremendous, sort of in a state of tremendous change. The manifestations up ahead, whether it's for the large sort of retailers in terms of what they do with their legacy systems, how they enhance them with new signage, with couponing schemes, with line busting, or sort of pop-up kiosks or mobile stores, stores within stores, etc. All of them are thinking about different things depending on how an Amazon threatens them or how they lose their business and lose their customers and how they want to control them. You can see sort of various manifestations of new stuff, whether it's kiosks or drive-by sort of purchases with the initial purchase having been done online, or payment processing on a smartphone, or shopping, comparison shopping sort of in the aisles. All these things are becoming real. If this year we heard about these things and some of it began to happen, next year is going to be the reality of all of these things happening. Sort of at Walmart stores, being able to sort of order ahead and just drive by and pick up stuff. Be able to compare products, be directed to the appropriate sort of area in the store, depending on who you are, what your profile is, what you want to purchase, and so on. So all of these, as you can see, these touch points for the consumer are across various channels. They're across the browser, they could be across a kiosk, they could be across a smartphone, a tablet, television set, etc. So the omni-channel world is real. In that world, what we're doing is we have the company that SYNNEX acquired for sort of last year, VisionMAX, the company was founded 14 years ago, has built a platform focused on retail. And the simplest way to describe it is it's an omni-channel platform with a common consistent database that can serve multiple verticals, whether it's fast food, sort of quick-serve, fashion retail, or electronic sort of products with sequenced numbered inventory. The fundamental sort of foundation is a common foundation. The presentation is decoupled from the back end to be able to interface to any front end, whether it's your traditional satellite TV or digital TV or smartphone or you know, sort of a tablet or a call center, sort of going to the call center where the call center agent then sort of puts the information into the system, or as we all begin to use voice activation on our smartphones, that request or that order going directly, translated directly into the system and being sort of processed by the system. So imagine a database which is consistent across verticals and can be extended for sort of different verticals wherever the need might be. Has an application layer where all the rules in terms of return processing, rebates, discounts, sort of refunds, etc., all can be customized relatively easily. A front end which allows interfacing with just about any channel. That's what VisionMAX has, and that's what we've built over the last 14 years. You know, cloud is talked about today, but cloud has been around practically since the internet came about. So since the late 90s at least, and for 14 years, VisionMAX has been building cloud applications. So you can see all of these different sort of front ends, a platform which we call Vision Engine, which then has all the enterprise bus capabilities and the integration capabilities to be able to integrate to any backend. And at the same time, all this sort of can work with small application or small retail environments all the way to large retail environments across the full continuum. So a small retail environment, somebody has 2 restaurants or sort of 2 say scuba gear sort of stores and wants to have 4 channels. We can deploy their environment in the cloud for just those 4 channels. The database in this particular case is the full system itself with the front end, however they want to sort of make the front end available. They may just have a couple of simple pop-up POS systems on a browser, on a PC, or they might be using something else. So for small applications, we have the full environment to be able to deploy practically overnight off the shelf in the cloud for say 5, 6, 10 lanes. At the other extreme, somebody who is interested, say a very large tier 1, tier 2 retailer who has a very large sort of obviously legacy investment is not going to take out that legacy investment, but they want to extend their environment with signage now, or they want to extend it with sort of lane busting solutions. They want to extend it with store within store sort of kinds of environments. Or maybe start in any one of these places and then gradually extend to other extensions, all these different sort of omni-channel extensions. We can work with their back end, interface with their back end, and provide the front end, this omni-channel front end for them. So I'll skip some of these sort of slides here. You see examples of different deployments, fast food, media distribution, fast food here. media distribution here, e-commerce here, pop-up stores. We talked about this morning. Hope ran through a high-end fashion retailer in Canada. Took a bus across 6 locations in Canada for the 175th anniversary. And the POS system was running off of wireless. That was our POS system, off the shelf. Let me skip this slide. This is our platform. You can see all of these different sort of touch points, all in the cloud, all accessible, most of them off the shelf, and they can be deployed incrementally. So one can start in one place and then add other functionality. Let me get to this slide, sort of in terms of engagement. This morning, there's been a lot of talk about solutions. Our focus is all solutions. So we're a software platform provider. We would work with various hardware providers and provide complete solutions. In the SYNNEX family, we have various products from different manufacturers. We have this platform. We also have a services organization. Of the 10,000 employees that SYNNEX has, roughly 6,000 provide services of different types in call centers, IT services as well. So what we want to do is, sort of among this community, I'd like to invite 5 to 10 sort of really forward-thinking integrators, resellers, who want to engage, whether it's with larger end users, larger retailers, or smaller retailers, and say, you folks are facing all of these different transitions, these challenges. We want to engage with you, whether to offer you a mobile solution or a signage solution or a cloud-based POS solution. We would like to engage with 5 to 10 resellers on some of these forward-thinking projects. Inevitably, this sort of next year is going to be the year of this transition. But we want to sort of engage in early conversations with these retailers and deploy some of these things to come. That's our resolution.
Thank you, Pradeep. Once again, I encourage you to go up to the vendor pavilion and see the VisionMAX solution that's in the booth. Next up is Guy Pinniger. Guy, I want to introduce you with Macro Integration, who's master reseller for Futura, and he'll introduce Ian. So. The mic.
I can take the mic.
Chris. Oh, dude, yeah.
I don't need it,
I
but
think everybody needs to run over
they're recording.
Yeah.
I'll put it on. Give it a minute. I'm Guy Pinniger with Macro Integration Services. First of all, I want to thank Gary for inviting us and to be part of this solution. And we've had some success already. I'll get into some of this, but one thing that they did for us already is introduced us to a reseller in Arkansas that we've somewhat moved forward with yesterday. So we're excited about that. We're a services solution provider. The word solution seems to be prevalent here. Based in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're a 10-year-old company. And I guess I should get on the slide. We offer quite a few solutions to end users, retailers, grocery industry, self-service, and we offer 2 point-of-sale applications, and both of those companies are represented right here, in Ian Royal and Angela Kalpakis. Ian is president of Futura International. He's going to speak here in just a second, but I'll let him tell you about the application. But Ian approached us a few months ago about becoming the North American partner for Futura. And we were looking for an application with a really strong back-end, back-office, warehouse distribution, very involved, corporate-heavy application. And Futura does provide that to us, but they also have got some different areas. They're doing a bundle with SYNNEX that's a Futura One application, and also which is for one store, one lane, one store, and a Futura small business, which is geared toward the, let's say, 2 to 5 to 10 store chains. And but again, Ian will get into that in just a second. But we're really happy to be here and to have this opportunity And I'll jump to the kind of last slide by saying this. You know, we are actively looking for partners in the U.S. And anywhere in North America, and that can participate in the selling, servicing for Futura. And but anyway, thank you very much. And this is Ian Royal, President of Futura. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. I have to check my watch because for me it's good night. Also, I'm not going to do what one of my European colleagues said, bring up golf. It wouldn't be appropriate. It wouldn't be fair. I would say that on Saturday I was watching it and I was thinking, I've got this presentation to do, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. Then by Sunday it all changed. Okay, I won't take very long with this presentation. The great thing about software is you can talk about it, you don't have to show lots of pictures. Essentially, the application covers all of the headings there. This is obviously highly simplified. So for example, it truly is a complete cycle of the retail world, including supply chain, warehousing, merchandise planning, etc., etc., etc. Okay? When I'm giving a presentation, I always get picked up on the word business intelligence. And I'm always asked which business intelligence tools we use. Well, within Futura we have our own, but we also have tied in with a number of other things. But I always get very amused about business intelligence because people say, what is the best business intelligence that exists? Well, actually, it's the people in the room. The system only crunches numbers, and I think we're all in the IT business here. We must know that. Okay? Okay. In terms of, right, we don't do food or hospitality, but we cover all of these other areas. Now, one of the reasons that I've come to the US is that I've been running my company for about 20 years. And we have grown all over the world, and we left the US till last. A number of reasons. Some of your regulatory stuff is actually quite unique. And the other reason that we're actually making a push into the US right now is quite a number of European retailers who are our customers are coming over here. And since they have us installed and they have already been to Russia and Australia and China, they then say, what do we do when we get to the US? Well, yes, we have to scratch our heads a while and then say, we better sort of get ourselves really bedded into the US market, to the North American market. And in actual fact, I've been here for about 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, touring around this area. And sorry, the flash just took my mind completely away. But anyway, what is absolutely evident is that with our customer base creeping into the US, and there's also evidence that the Chinese are coming over here, and with the Chinese coming, and we're already in China, and China doesn't have a retail system, we've done the research. They're obviously going to be picking us up from the European angle. Now, one of the things that we need resellers, and I use the word desperately, quite carefully. We've got 5 customers who are moving into the US in January, or December and January. So we have got to make sure that we can actually service them. And my good friend here, Guy Pennegar, has already got that under his belt to make sure that all of this happens very smoothly. But as more of this does happen, we're going to need more help. But if we then just develop that one stage further, there is no reason, in fact, why you should not become as successful as we have been in Australia with our product through Macro. Essentially, as Guy was saying, there are a number of modules, you could call it. So we have Futura 1, which is the single store, single lane, you call it. The small business, which is exactly what it says, it is small business. And then we have the full enterprise. And the full enterprise would be essentially any retailer you could think of, not in food or hospitality. And the reason that we can say this
quite confidently is in the UK, for example, we run, I think it's 250 stores for one company, and it's over 2,000 tills and expanding fast, and they're the equivalent of your dollar stores. So if you are interested in, I saw the fingers, if you are interested in becoming a reseller for us and with Macro, then please come and see us at the pavilion. I did it in less than that.
Michael, why don't you come on up? This is Michael. See, I knew I did. Michael Dalasinos, anyway, with Silverware is here, and we're excited about this relationship. And Michael, for the sake of time, I'm going to encourage you just to, let's get through it as quickly as we can, because I want to give Joe Finizio as much time as possible. We're friends, we can talk like that.
Okay, folks, so my name is Michael Dalasinos. I'm with Silverware POS. We develop technology solutions for the hospitality industry. We all eat and drink often, and we've got a solution that helps those processes. So your general table service type establishment, you're walking into an establishment, you're greeted, you're seated, you're fed, you pay, you leave. Well, there's all sorts of things that are happening behind the scenes. And we've got solutions that are built to help those processes. It's a SQL-based tool that allows for the end user to simply select the items that their client is asking for and possibly take payment, post to an account for a private member facility or retirement home, as well as swipe cards for corporate cafeteria type environments. Now, our solution sits at a store level, so it's a license-based type product that is installed at the store level, but can also communicate to the cloud in real time. So part of the advantage is, of course, you don't need the internet to operate the solution, but you can have the advantage of knowing what's going on in real time at every one of your stores, be it a single store operation or 5, 10, 50, even 100 stores. All this data is being sent and pushed in real time. Now, we're a HP OEM, Microsoft Gold certified partner, and we really do take pride in developing strong point of sale solutions. Very user-friendly tools that help an environment become more efficient, more secure, more controlled. I touched on the cloud-based reporting. Now, another nice tool that we offer is, I might have passed that actually, is a menu management solution. So again, we touch on independently operated establishments as well as chain, multi-store type establishments. Now this cloud computing it's so common that you don't need to have 100 stores in order to manage your menu or view your reports using the internet. These types of tools are great for your single store or your large enterprise type environment. So there's a number of things that we do differently compared to a lot of the other restaurant hospitality type POS products. We've got a demonstration unit in the pavilion. We'd be happy to go through some processes. We are actively searching for and welcoming resellers all across North America. It's very exciting to be here and communicate with all of you and have the opportunity to work with Gary and the team. So again, we can go into more detail. Try to wrap it up as quickly as possible. We can go into more detail upstairs and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, I'm going to let you start making your way up here while he's, thank you, Mike. First of all, I want to thank everybody who's been speaking with Dylan, Chris, Scott, each of you, and Michael, of course, Guy, and all of you. Thank you so much. This has been a tremendous building process for us. And 2 weeks ago, I went up to Charlotte and met with Joe Finizio to make sure that I had introduced him properly to SYNNEX and let him know of our commitment to RSPA. With Joe today is Stephen Gift, who's over the membership organization there at RSBA, and then Kristen Olson, who's over the communications. But it's great to have them with us at our conference today. And without further ado, Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Gary. Now we want to cue that up.
All right, cool.
Hey guys, good afternoon. And I am upset about the golf, Ian. And I am not here to talk about how we're going to lower the deficit, increase employment, and do all that. The guys last night talked about that. We're pleased to have SYNNEX as a member of the RSPA and then also a sponsor. The sponsors are what power what RSPA does. How many people here know who RSPA is? Show of hands. Yeah, we get about 70%. Good, so I won't go a whole lot into it. Other than suffice to say that RSPA has been around for 64 years. It's over the past 6 years gone through quite a transition from what was a really good organization for dealers to an organization that in fact is focused on the entire industry, from resellers to vendors and beyond. Since we changed and transitioned to a full industry association back in late 2006, our membership's grown from 380 companies to, the last count, Stephen, was 1,074. Right? Did I get that right? 77 companies. That's companies and thousands of individuals. Now, it's not just the number of members that count, it's the influence that we have in the marketplace and also the voice that we have in the marketplace, and I'll talk about that in a couple of seconds. And the support of organizations like SYNNEX is extremely critical for us to continue to represent the industry and to sustain the industry. So one of the things that's kind of unique coming out of the industry as an old product geek and going way back to the company that created their very first microprocessor-based cash register that ran on a car battery, if you can believe that, on a 4-bit microprocessor. To see where we are today. It's unique to be in this position because we have vision of what's going on in the entire industry. We have a unique position to pick up the phone and talk to the CEOs or the C-level or the major, the executive management of either any reseller out there or any vendor out there. So what we're able to do is provide a good industry perspective. And we saw some great products over the past hour or so. And I'm going to give you a top-down view of what's going on. And I think you all agree that the industry is in a dramatic transition. And we were talking before with Pradeep and Gary, and I always say that, you know, you've heard the saying, I wish I was 20 again and I knew everything that I know now. I just wish I was 20 again and getting into business. Because there's so many opportunities out there. Now, if you could just break down those fences of tradition. I can almost imagine back in the early 70s when the guys went from mechanicals to that DTS Daycap 44 on the car battery, that the guys with the mechanicals are saying, that stuff's never going to last. It's not going to, you know, that computer cash register, as they called it back then, is not going to last. And fast forward to today, when they're saying, you know, the cloud-based, the tablet-based, you know, the recurring revenue-based products that are coming out today, that's never going to last. It's a transition that's as dramatic as it was back then, and that transition is creating as many opportunities today as it did back then as well. It's easy for folks to get up and say, oh, this is what you should do, and I don't want to appear that way. The sky is not falling, the opportunities are great, so, you know, but I want to tell everybody that you got to get real and you got to get moving. At our conference back in July, we had a little over 1,900 folks there, and the call to action was to step up our game. There's so many great opportunities out there now, but we've got to step up our game, and I'll show you some of the things that are going on. But I don't want you to think that I'm just talking head up here. Here's the big picture that's going on. I don't know if you can see it. I think the picture captures it, but we've got consumer-driven IT that's impacting the way people buy. The folks that are going out there now, even though if you packaged up a tablet, you know, whether it's iOS-based or an Android-based tablet, and package it up, the pricing might be similar, the buying mentality is there. And for those of you with a little gray hair, you probably remember back in the, when the IBM 4680 came out, in the mid-80s, that when we went from proprietary to open platform, that same buying mentality came in place. There was a company based out of North Carolina that had an article in 1993 in Business Solutions magazine called Pieces and Parts. And Post Software International, the CEO, said, what we're going to do is we're going to, in fact, just sell hardware at 5% and wrap our services and software around it. Same thing today. It's a different selling mentality out there. Everything is a service, cloud-based apps, bring your own device. I'll talk about that in a second. Payment and POS providing social media, PCI, and then also personal identifiable information, and the security of that is critical today. PCI Council doesn't address that. And then the generational change. So market realities that we're all dealing with: competition, profit erosion, economy, financing, staff, and resources. Everybody deals with it, whether you're selling the product, manufacturing the product, or buying the product. We know that's real. As a service, people get confused with that. As a service is a business model, guys. What we did at our conference, our board of directors meets every 6 months, as in face-to-face. Every 6 months we have a strategic planning meeting. We brought extra folks in from the industry to discuss how we're going to transition and help the membership in the industry transition to as a service. There's a big J curve, and if you're a reseller, that you've got to jump over. Instead of saying, okay, here's the product, and for a 3-terminal restaurant system, I would like $12,000 right now, to here's a 3-terminal restaurant system, and I'll take the $500 a month. You know, how do you, from a capitalization, jump that? Fast forward to September 6th, we brought a whole bunch of folks in from the industry, did a little bit of Noah's Ark, brought people in from all the stakeholder areas, even folks that weren't RSPA members to get a perspective. We wanted to increase the IQ, collective IQ of the group. We're going to be putting together some roadmaps on how you transition to as a service. The cloud, it's a storage option as opposed to a business option. Today's shoppers are continually connected, and as Pratyep said, it's omni-channel access. You need to be connected everywhere. There's a lot of pressure on the retail community right now. Now the retailers in general retail from Amazon. You can buy everything from it. Do you know who the biggest lumber company is in the world? Amazon. I would never have thought that. But Amazon sells more lumber than Lowe's. They sell more lumber than Home Depot. They also sell golf clubs too. I was checking that out. So to combat stores like Best Buy or et cetera becoming showrooms, you've got to have that omni-channel access to engage the shopper. It's extremely important. There's all kinds of opportunities, guys, with that. We just heard that from several of our ISV partners there. Marketing has changed. I didn't talk about that up front, but if you're not marketing yourself, whether you're as a reseller or an ISV or a restaurateur or general retail, if you're not marketing yourself differently today and engaging the shopper, either remotely with your cell phone, you know, smartphones today, I left it over there, smartphone today, that's digital signage, guys. That's engaging the shopper. And it gives you measurement when you click through, and that's one of the things that's missing today in store marketing. There's all kinds of opportunities here that we need to address. This is a slide that was put together by Joe Polari of IBM now Toshiba's in-store division. Joe's a rock star when it comes to the merchandising folks and the store operation folks getting together. There's all kinds of social media options out there today to engage the shopper. Now, how do you manage that? You need to become knowledgeable about this, if not experts on it. It's no longer George Costanza's wallet. Today, there's over 100 mobile wallet applications out there. Some of the ones that are up front is ISIS, even though they've delayed their implementation of it, their test, they're going to be out front. Of course, Google Wallet and now the Apple Passport. And there's more to come. Anybody heard of Square? There's also ads. Square just penned a big deal with Starbucks. Intuit's advertising on TV. PayPal. There's all kinds of other options coming out with payment processing. Walmart, Best Buy, Target, and 12 other retailers just decided to create their own mobile payment network so that they can go around traditional credit cards. They don't have to worry about Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, or JCB anymore. They can ride on their own rail because they don't want to pay the swipe fees anymore. So they'll have a whole separate mobile payment application out there that goes around credit cards. So there's more opportunities there, guys, than ever because the traditional credit cards, hopefully there's none here, are vulnerable. There's also an interest, I'm talking fast, right? Industry intersection coming up that's either going to be a collision or an opportunity here. Traditional POS folks are selling payment processing with the products. You got ISOs out there, independent sales organizations for merchant services or payment processing, that are selling POS. It's either going to be one massive collision or there's going to be an opportunity for traditional point of sale providers if they work with the ISOs. There's one reseller out there that got into a whole new vertical market, partnered with a payment processor, brought the 20 feet on the street, and fed him lunch every month, told him about his product, and his business took off. That's an opportunity. That's an example of the opportunity. Finally, my generation. You know who these guys are. Yes. They certainly don't look like that now. But there's a challenge here with the resellers that don't want to change. I was at a conference recently, and we were talking about cloud. We were talking about as a service, and we said, guys, define cloud. And somebody raised their hand and said, I'm not going to use it. I said, why? He said, because the cloud can go down. I said, that's going to kill your business. I said, do you use Gmail? He said, yes. I said, do you like it? He goes, I love it. I said, that's a cloud-based app. You know? So we got to change the way we think. Try to wrap things up here. Anybody know who that is?
The most interesting man.
Robert Wright. Okay, good. Thank you. Former Secretary of Labor for the Clinton administration. Had an opportunity to speak on the same conference as Robert Wright was at a couple years ago. Of course, he had a much larger room. And he told a story about the importance of services. He was talking about globalization. He was talking about service-based marketplace. And he said, told the story about how he had both his hips replaced at Boston Brigham and Women's Hospital, famous hospital in the Boston area. Being a Bostonian, I love that. And he went back to the hospital and he talked to the doctor and said, Doctor, where were my hips manufactured? And the doctor said they were manufactured in Japan. He says, I'm a little disappointed about that because I was the U.S. Secretary of Labor. I don't want to have Japanese manufactured hips. Well, the doctor went on and said, well, they were engineered in Germany and they were designed in France. He said, well, it's nice to have French designed hips that were engineered in Germany and manufactured in Japan, but I was the U.S. Secretary of Labor. I'm disappointed. And the doctor told him, he said, those hips would be absolutely useless if it wasn't for the services that were provided by the doctors, the nurses, and the staff at Brigham and Women's Hospital. And the light bulb went off. Every time, I'll go over use this slide because every time I do it, the light bulb goes off. It's all about services. It's all about the solution. The folks here at SYNNEX get that. You know, with the STORESolv products, with VisionMAX, they're packaging it all up as a solution. It's critical for us in the future to, in fact, go out and not sell the thing, but to sell the solution. I was just at, in fact, I just flew back this morning from New Orleans, and I was at an IT conference with CIOs in the restaurant community. And every single one of them didn't say, you know, give me that 15-inch screen and I need 8 gig of memory, and you know, give me a good cache drawer, give me that Epson printer with the 22 lines a second. Nobody said that. They said, give me a solution. I need something to help my kitchen run more efficient. I need something to better manage my labor. I need something to reduce waste. They need entire solutions. They need those great products out there being wrapped with services. And I think Gary, you're doing a great job and bringing that to the marketplace the right way. So think about Robert Wright and what he says. Finally, data security. There's a target on our backs, and we're always involved with it. There's an opportunity. It's the thieves. Here's my quick commercial. Get certified. If you're not a member, become a member, get certified, become a trusted advisor. We partner with folks like the National Grocers Association, National Restaurant Association in their 8 essential elements of POS ownership. They say work with RSP certified members. There's a website that they drive their customers to. You can search by reseller, by brand, etc. If you're certified Premier, you go to the top of the list. We also work with all the associations as an advocate. This is a coalition of Association of Retail Data Security. RSPA leads that coalition with the NRF, the NGA, the FMI, and all the alphabet soup, NACS, etc. This gets in front of the merchant community, and we drive them to RSPA certified. So it's a collaboration of best practices that help us so that we're not getting hosed. So instead of the merchant pointing to us when they're breached, they say, give us some help. So, call to action, right on time. Call to action is seize the opportunities, guys. There's all kinds of solution products out there. I'm really impressed with the show floor. I appreciate SYNNEX having us here. And the future is yours, so just go out and grab it. Thanks very much.
Well, this is what we've worked 2 years for, right here. In this room, we have the RSPA organization, we have ISVs, we have hardware vendors, and we have resellers. The issue that we've been trying to build to is bringing all of this together to partner. I have loved being in the channel the last 17 years, been in business 32. And by the way, my granddaughter was born at Boston Brigham Williams Hospital, yes. And my second granddaughter is getting ready to be born there in February, other story. But this is what it's all about, partnering together. And I thank you for embracing it. I thank you for supporting it and for being our partners. We appreciate you. I hope that you're able to go upstairs to the vendor pavilion and see our vendor partners and our ISVs. Be sure to go to the RSPA table and get signed up with RSPA. And we've got a gift up there. It's a book about positive, outrageous service. Hope you'll pick one of those up. Thank you so much for being here.